Welcome back to Atkinson Flowers Law. I'm Nadine Atkinson Flowers. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend about our channel. What do you want to hear about as it relates to immigration? Today we're talking about a very crucial topic. That's the changes that are being made to the naturalization application. People call it citizenship. There is going to be now more questions on the naturalization application when you go for your interview. The government is proposing 20 questions be asked of person, and you have to get 12 of those questions correct. Previously, you only had to be asked 10 questions and you're expected to get 6 of those correct. Now, the civics portion, as it were, has always entailed 100 questions that you study, and you can expect to get 10 from anywhere in the syllabus, as it were. Now you will have to contend with doing a little bit more if these changes go through. Additionally, the government is now indicating that it's contemplating an essay portion to the citizenship application, which means you might be asked questions about the founding fathers, you might be asked questions about the Constitution. There are still things to be worked out as it relates to what exactly that essay portion might entail. But there's more. The government has now also indicated that as it relates to your good moral character, they are going to be doing checks in your neighborhood, as it were, to find out if you are actually the type of person that the US wants to become a citizen. Because as they've indicated, becoming a citizen of the United States is a very, very heavy responsibility, and they want to make sure, they have indicated, that persons are actually understanding what that really entails. What does that really mean for you? It means that the citizenship process is going to be more difficult. It means that the immigration officers now have more subjective right to deny your application. But what can you do to prevent all of that from impacting negatively on you? One of the first things you can do is to make sure that when you're preparing your application, you go through that application with a fine-tooth comb. You make sure that you've dotted all the I's and you've crossed all the T's. You make sure that the application is true and correct. Even a seemingly innocent mistake can be fatal. Of course, mistakes can happen, and this is why you need sometimes to make sure you have a review of that application, whether you are doing it yourself or you have a professional do it, such as an attorney. Please make sure that if you have any issues in your life, whether recently or in the long past, you consult an attorney before you complete that citizenship application. You don't want a situation where you could explain something that happened, but because you didn't know, didn't think it was important, felt, oh, that was in the past, you don't submit the documentation regarding that. And that usually happens with persons who've had criminal law issues. For example, you had a case that was dismissed, you got a suspended sentence, you paid a fine, you got probation, you got community service, you didn't go to prison. In your mind, that's not a conviction, but it actually is. And that is something that USCIS wants to know about. And that is something that you, as the person who's seeking citizenship, you have that ability to show, no, I'm not that person, or that was a mistake via an affidavit or whatever, and you submit the documentation regarding the case, and you also submit something to say, this is what happened, I am not that person anymore, or whatever it is, community persons speaking on your behalf, employers speaking on your behalf, to show that you now are the type of person who has good moral character, the type of character that we would like to have here in the United States. I've found that a lot of persons think that because it happened a long time ago, or because the government should already know about it because it happened in the court system, they don't submit those documentation, or worse yet, they don't mention those things, and that becomes a problem which could have been easily fixed. So I'm imploring you, when you're making your application, you do it carefully, you do it diligently, and you seek advice. But sometimes you're saying to yourself, I don't need any advice. The rule of thumb, in my view, should be, let me check if I had any issue at all. Let me get some professional advice about this. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend about our channel. And if you have an immigration situation, let us know. Perhaps we can help. We've got lots of educational resources on our YouTube channel that you can check out, as well as our blogs. And we are happy to help you because good help helps, and there are lots of persons out there who are eligible for citizenship, but they are not applying because in their view it doesn't make sense, or some persons might even have the mistaken view that they are not supposed to apply for citizenship as yet because the number of years have not yet passed. But I always urge persons to get advice. And when you have had advice, at that point, you can make an informed decision about your immigration case. This is not the time to sit back and say, I don't know, and I don't know what to do. There are too many resources out there now for you to say that. So join us next time when we'll be offering more immigration updates on the channel as it relates to what's happening. The news is breaking all the time, so check back and be one of the persons who are in the know.